Man, you want to talk about a high-class dude. This guy I used to know back in college, man. He was a high roller. Man, Huey-Langston. He was the guy. Let me tell you about Huey-Langston. He always had a nice watch on him. He had the best glasses. Designer glasses, always had something rolling on him. Man, he had this awesome fedora. He always had it wearing, always had it on. And you would just walk with him, and all the girls were trying to come talk to him, man. It was like a magnet. Honestly, I don't think he could help it. He was just naturally good looking. I mean, we'd go walking together, and all these girls trying to talk to us and stuff. But, I think it had to do something with just his outlook. He had this walk about him, like he knew he was going somewhere. Like he was walking, like a man that walked with a measure of importance to him. When we'd be going out somewhere, it's just like somebody could spot him in the crowd and it'd be a conversation. And especially if it was a girl, man, he could pull some conversations I wouldn't even think to have with women. And from what we gathered, that wasn't the only things he was getting from us. But he's a good guy. I don't even know what happened to him, man. It's been so long since I've talked to Huey-Langston. It's just, I don't even know what to say, man. But man, this just got my memories going. Trying to think back to the first time we really started hanging out. We were out with I was actually walking down the street when I met him, and he was walking to the Chicago pub. Yeah, he was walking to the Chicago pub. That's the place. After that place that's where it was happening, and we would find ourselves just encountering all sorts of women. And man, this one girl, she had this smile, man. You could just see it in her eyes. She just had the prettiest eyes. And of course, I didn't have the guts to go up and talk to her, but Huey just rolled up on there and started talking. And before you know it, getting some numbers, showing this girl how to play an instrument. Like it was something to do. But that was just his personality. Always trying to start something up. Man, it's just like every time I think back to him, I think back to that red jacket. You see him always in that red jacket, always rolling up. It was like this one time, he was trying to talk to this girl, and her boy was sitting there right with him, but she just kept on getting closer, kept on scooting up next to him, and that didn't end well, man. He just told him to fuck off, basically, and that was the end of that. But if I do recall, he actually did get her number later. But we used to actually chill at this place called the what was it called? It was the Chicago pub, man. And there'd be some mad women in there at all times. You just roll up in there, and he's just pulling them left and right, like hell. The saddest part was, hell, I never talked to any of these girls. I just kind of was like a third wheel, but it didn't seem to affect him and his pursuit. I mean, he'd just roll up at another table, and he'd be like, "Hey, shorty, what's your name?" And that'd be the end of it. For me, though, it was just like, it was like watching a master at work. Like, this was his art. This was his craft. He always be in there doing his thing, man. And before you know it, he'd have like a whole page worth of numbers. The thing about him is, this one time we were sitting there, I'm just sitting there relaxing, and next thing you know, he's got this girl's hand. He just loosely moves it over and cups her hand in his hand, just like a raccoon stealing something out of the water, just smooth as ice. Just sitting there caressing him underneath the table. And I had to give him props. I never have the balls to do that. And just seeing what kind of guy he was, seeing how he would do that. It's such a shame he had such a way with women. But the relationship he had with his girlfriend, for the most part, they were happy. Smooth as this dude was, like the relationship he had with Jenny Palmer it was just, it really was a shame. These two would get in fights in public, and you could cut the tension with a knife. To be yelling at each other, and she'd just lose it sometimes. Sometimes, I mean, he did have an anger in him, but it's just like he could never be satisfied, and man, you could see it but I don't know. She never caught him, never once. And you know it's amazing because, like I said, he was all over the place with the women. It was this deep red, almost like a crimson color. It absolutely, it made him stand out when he walked around in public. People be walking down the side of the street and they knew it was Huey. People be screaming out of their cars, Huey! You know, they just be like, they could spot him right on this part. It was like a trademark. That and he had this diamond earring, man. Ooh, you know, it was just ice. Like it drove into ladies. Like, you know, maybe that was the magnet. I don't even know, but you know, people just they knew you came from a wealthy background, and he really was suave with it though. He didn't flaunt himself, but you know, he looked fly at all times. So it was nice to see him walking around and to be with him because I kind of got some of the rollover effect. You know, I felt better about myself just by being around him. But you know, that's just in my opinion one little small flaw about a great guy. You know, this is the guy that he picked me up when I was in a bad spot. Like, you know, I first came to college. I was going through some issues with, you know, having issues with my dad, and he just helped me realize, you know, there's more to life than worrying about the small things. And we hit it off, man. Like every weekend we'd be at each other's house, you know, just chilling. I mean, that's if he wasn't with Jenny or, you know, with one of the other girls. But you know, that's just him. You had to make room and know that, you know, he liked his girls. But as far as, you know, being friends, man, there's nobody else came close to what he meant to me. You know, we could just post up and watch a movie all day and just kick back, you know, listen to music, and the conversations we had didn't have to be deep and meaningful, though they could be. We could have fun, but we could be serious at the same time. But it was just something about his character. You know, he was always caring, always engaged in the conversation. It was just, sometimes he would go off though, and you wouldn't see him for days. You wouldn't hear from him. You try to call him, nothing. You couldn't get in contact with him. So you got used to not hearing from Huey, and before you knew it, man, he just